The Department of Mineral Resources and Energy is expected to confirm the June steep fuel price hike when new price adjustments are announced. But preliminary data indicates a record R3 a litre hike from next week. The expected sharp increase is partly due to the lapsing of temporary fuel levy of R1.50 per litre at the end of this month. But pressure is mounting on government to continue to cushion hard-pressed consumers. We are now joined via Zoom by Dr Dale McKinley to weigh in on the petrol price increases on a record of R3 per litre from next week. A very good afternoon to you, Dr McKinley. Thanks very much for joining us here on SABC News.
Afternoon, Flo, to you and the viewers as well.
All right, motorists may be paying over R25 per litre. I mean, are these price hikes justifiable at this point? And I mean, can we really continue on like that? All we're ever seeing is increases.
No, it's not. Look, it's not sustainable, clearly, in terms of a constant price rise. And this is why we're having this debate about what this cost of potential R25 per litre it consists of. And if you break it down, the actual basic cost of that litre for the fuel, for the refined fuel that goes into your tank, is about 60%, just a bit below 60%. The other almost 40% are fuel levies and taxes. So that's where the wiggle room potentially comes as to what government can do. And it's clear that more needs to be done. The R1.50 cushion that has been for the last 2 months was good, but it's not enough. And it needs not only to continue, but possibly to be extended. Because as we've talked about, as your other guests have said previously, the knock-on effects of the fuel price are massive, not just in terms of food, in terms of transport, inflation, just a range of different things. And so just in terms of the price and the more immediate things that can be done, I think government can do more and should do more to cushion that.
Yeah, the presidency has said that they are receiving advice from the finance and energy departments. How much power does the presidency have, in terms of stopping these hikes? I mean, I know that one of the civil society organizations had in fact wanted to go to court in order to get, government to get these price hikes, these prices fixed. And I wonder, is that a possibility? How much leeway does government have when it comes to the issue of fuel prices?
Well, it doesn't have much leeway when it comes to the actual price of crude oil. Clearly, yeah. That's determined on the open international market. So you get that, and then the refined. So if you take, again, what I said is that you've got about a 40% room to play. So let's look at that. Let's look at to see where government could intervene.
Yeah.
The general fuel levy itself is almost R4 per litre. Now we've gotten a R1.50. That could be doubled to R3 and give us quite a bit of relief and bring the price down. Government would take a hit. It would have to reorganize some of its finances. We could also deal with the road accident levy, the road accident fund levy, which is around R2.20 per litre. That could also be brought down. Again, government would have to find some resources. But the point is, there is room. They can make these decisions. They can make them at the cabinet level as well.
Yeah, I mean, are there other ways, for a government, in fact, to cushion, hard-pressed consumers? And I mean, one wonders if, you have to look out of the energy sector to see if we can have some sort of a buffer.
Yes, it's a good question, Flo. And I think we're talking particularly, let's take, for example, food, which affects everybody, particularly the poor and the working class more. I think something that really does need to be considered is the subsidies for basic foodstuffs. This has been on the agenda for quite some time. Government has avoided this because they say they don't want to mess with the market. But we're getting to a point where, for example, I was in the grocery store the other day and half a litre of sunflower oil was R50. Just 4 months ago, it was like R18. It's impossible. It's not going to be possible for people to afford that. So yes, government is going to have to think creatively. It could subsidize particularly certain food prices. It could further subsidize the fuel. It can. We were just told at the beginning of this year by our finance minister that there was an extra 100 billion that had been raised in taxes to cushion some of the things. Then government's going to have to start redirecting some of those resources to where they're really needed which is for people themselves and consumers, instead of directing them, for example, to new massive infrastructural projects or new projects in terms of investment and gas and oil and other exploration.
All right, Dr. Dale McKinley, thank you so much for your input. Much appreciated here on SABC News, sir.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
All right, that is Dr. Dale McKinley weighing in on the petrol price increases on a record R3 per litre from next week.